Good evening, friends. My name is Joshna. Today I'm going to discuss or share with you the complete overview of the PayPal payment service provider. So, this is our project. So, now let's understand what is the exact aim of this project. So, the aim of this PayPal payment service provider is to develop a secure and scalable payment system that integrates with the PayPal REST API. So this is basically this project is basically going to build in basically three system project. So what are those systems means? One is e-commerce client. Second one is payment system. Third one is it's a PayPal system by itself. So understand what are these? What is e-commerce client? What is PayPal system? What is payment system? Right. So the e-commerce client where the customer, the one who wants to make a payment, the customer who wants to make a payment, we call it as a e-commerce client, just like a customer. It's a PayPal. Its payment system means here our backend coding starts. We should give the entire capability for making payments here. It's a backend. So PayPal means it's a PayPal itself. So we backend developers interact with the PayPal. So now let's understand how the flow comes. So here it is the e-commerce client. Let's understand with this basic structure. So here the e-commerce system comes. It is a payment system. It is a PayPal system. We said that. So when the e-commerce client here clicks a button to make a payment, right? So on clicking button, um, the call goes to the payment system. The call doesn't go to the PayPal directly. There is some rules and protocols need to be followed, right? Because of the security crisis. So the call first goes to the payment system. Here the payment system validates through some code and it calls the PayPal API. So we are saying that here the lot of communications are happening between this is basically a front end, this is a back end, and this is a PayPal. So my question is, how the communication is happening among these, among the front and back end people, right? So the communication basically happens through APIs. APIs. So what is meant to be API? API it is nothing but application programming interface. So what is the work of these APIs? So these APIs allows softwares to communicate with each other through some API calls. The communication happens through some API calls. So likewise I said here a lot of communication is happening among these means. So here from the e-commerce client to there is a backend also in the e-commerce. So the backend it communicates through the payment system through some APIs. So the APIs which we are using in our project is REST APIs. So why REST APIs means there is a lot of standards to develop these APIs, but REST is one of the best standard in present generation. So that's why we are using these REST APIs. It is also called as the RESTful APIs. So now, here the project involves in a front and back end PayPal. So what is our exact work is, we are the backend developers. So here you are seeing the lot of Rama is happening here. So we need to develop this entire code. So we need to develop such type of code means we are giving our services in this backend part, and we are going to develop a very nice payment which is handling all cases properly. That's how, what is this that cases, right? So money is not going to stuck anywhere, and everything needs to be good, and double payments is not happening. So we need to code the entire flow. So we need to understand the functional requirements and need to read a PayPal integration documents from that we understand how to develop and design system. So to develop the good software and application, we are using these concept microservices. You are seeing. So basically, this is our entire code. But why we are dividing this code into parts? So this is question. So this is because we are using the microservices and some of the open sources. Yes. So now, what is microservices? So microservices, it is an architecture that refers to an architectural style for developing the applications. These microservices allow a large application to be separated into smaller independent parts, with each part having its own responsibility. So why we are dividing this code into different parts? So because by dividing these parts, it becomes easy to understand the code, and if there is any errors rises or any bugs comes, so it is very easy to detect those bugs and clarify those also. So from here, from middle, I said that it is very most important to understand about the integration documents for every company. So each company has its integration documents. This is a documents means, so it is the document that explains how to integrate with a certain application, a certain website. So we are working with the PayPal, right? So that's why we are using these PayPal integration documents. So now let's see how our project was based on this PayPal integration documents. Um, so because this document says the how to the way that we need to do our projects, need to develop our code. So this is basically, it's a guide for the developers. Basically PayPal is providing for us, so we can get this code in Google also. I just I want to see you this to you, that's why I downloaded and put it here. So here I said that the e-commerce client, the customer. So here our customer, here is our customer. It's he's also called as buyer. So now he needs to communicate with the PayPal to make a payment, right? So the customer clicks the button through the website or mobile. They have provided, provided. So he clicks on the button. So after the clicking the button from the UI page, the call goes to the merchant server. Now what is the merchant server? So I said this is a complete structure how to payment happens. So now here merchant server, it is the terminology called merchant server. So who is merchant server means, it is nothing but the backend developer. Basically, as we are developing the backend means that we are the merchant servers according to the e-commerce client. So now we need to communicate with the PayPal. So how this communication happens means, so we are using some APIs. I already said the API that enables the communication between two softwares. So this is, so basically this is different software and this is different software. So now how to communicate means, this PayPal is giving some instructions to to do that. So it is giving some APIs to interact with me. If you want to connect with me, just follow these APIs. That's the only way to interact with me. So we are using these APIs, but it is not a easy way. There is many security crisis comes here. So that's why uh, we are we are using the authentication. So when these payment system needs to interact with the PayPal page in a secured manner, due to some security crisis, we need to follow the authentication mechanism for this. So we need to write some code too for this. So after we calls this PayPal, so if all goes well, then this PayPal accepts this call and redirects and gives some token. Here is our token. So after connecting with the PayPal, it gives us a token. So then we call the create order. So here is the API called create order. I said that here the some extra information needed, as create order is an API, right? So we need some of the protocols and structure to use the API. Where do we find this? So the answer for this question is already the PayPal that gave us a beautiful documentation to how to connect with this create order too. So it is in a document that the PayPal provides us for to use this create order, to develop this create order to call. So any language like URL, Node.js, Java, Python, can any language can use this document. So we are doing our project in Java, right? That's why we are going to use this Java code, and it is also gave us some code, how to interact with and how to create and how to interact with the PayPal. These are the APIs related things. So basically, I said that these API calls are happen through some URLs, request and response form. So the URL communicates through sending some request as a URL, and it gets the response in the form of just URLs. So here it's a request response and it's a response request. So this is how it happens. We can go through this entire code, and just the PayPal needs to communicate with us and we need to communicate with PayPal. That's how we use this code. We need to use this code to interact, to make a communication between those also. When we go through this document, we can understand so many things as well, how to interact with the PayPal. So now, so after the create order, it I said that it gave us a URL in the form of response, right? So this response is now we need to return it back to the user or customer, because the customer needs to approve it. After the approval, it goes away. So so now the response request are in the form of URLs. Now it came. So when response come, so it returns in the form of URL. So here the customer approves it and returns it back to the PayPal page. It redirects on so PayPal page, right? So he gives his approval to the PayPal page. Now after approval, so it again redirects to the PayPal and customer completes the payment journey. It's a complete journey. It follows and it continues. So finally, in return, we get some success or failure feedback. So this is how this process and flow comes. So we need to understand this complete flow, and we need to develop according to these flow, right? So that's why we need to understand. So for any project, it is very important first to analysis and understand the documents, and what is the requirements that we need to develop and how that flow happens. So that's why these documents, I think these documents will be very helpful for us, because the 50% of work is just under the analysis only. So if you do any mistake, it will destroy our complete projects. That's why we need to go through the each bit of these guidelines and these templates. That's why we get understanding of these requirements. So now I'm going to tell you how to develop APIs. Okay, so here is that a lot of communications is happening. So we are just making a single payment, but for this single payment, look how many interactions are happening, how many communications are happening through the APIs among the three systems. That's a lot of coding is happening, lot of security is happening. So we will understand it day by day, day by day. So now I am going to tell you the another topic. So I'm going to tell you how to build the web applications, basically by using the Spring Boot. Building web application by using Spring Boot. So to develop a web application using Spring Boot, we need some prerequisites like we need STS. It's Spring Tool Suite. So it is a tool that provides us to develop Maven or Spring Boot applications. So second one is it's a build tool. Build tool we are using here is it's nothing but Maven, right? And here it is also comes we uses like MVC architecture. What is this MVC architecture? It is nothing but like a model view controller architecture. In the model we have database related structures, and in a view it contains front end related topics. I think we all know this. It's just simple recap. And the controller, you see it's a controller nothing but it's controlling both view and database. So whenever a request came from the front end or user, first the request goes to the controller. The controller needs to approve in order to make a database code. That's how this work. And my third topic is it's one of the prerequisites. So okay. So another prerequisite for this developing web application is it is nothing but a sample understanding of APIs. What are the APIs and how this works? What is the use of these? We need to understand a little bit about the APIs. So now let's understand. Let's assume we have a simple class called my class in a Java code. We have a simple class and it contains a simple meth1, and it contains its implementation. It's a logical implementation inside it. So it is basically it's looking like it's just a standalone application. That means this application is just in our system. So in order to run this code we use just like Java, C, Java, these codes we use to run this code, because this is normally happens in our system. So that's why these are called as a standalone applications. So these standalone applications doesn't need any internet to run those type of applications. But but in order to use APIs, we can't use standalone applications, right? We basically need to convert these code into web applications. That's how we can communicate through other softwares, right? So basically this main method we call it as bytes. Okay, but if we can access those from the other side, we call it as a web applications. So here for example, let's see here. So here basically these it's a validation purpose. It is all a it's a simple Java code, but it's a complete processing code. It is also a simple Java code. It's a PayPal provided code. It is also simple Java code. But how they are communicating through each other? By using some APIs. Because if it is a simple Java code which runs on our system, so it doesn't happen. to communicate between two different softwares dynamically, because this Java code, we converted this Java code into APIs, into web applications. So that's how this communications is happening, right? So this is so important to convert our standalone applications into web applications, because if someone wants to interact with our system, or we, if we want to interact with other systems dynamically through the internet, we just need to convert our code into web applications. If you stay the standalone applications in our system, nobody can access it and nobody can use it. It's just useful our systems. So that's why it is so important to convert these standalone applications into web applications. So how how this happens? So our question is, we need to change these method into web applications. But how can we do this? So basically, before before days, there are so many people using just like servlets. You already hear about this, I think. Some servlets, JSP codes, and some JDBC structure, JDBC technologies are. So these are used to make a web applications basically. But here, what is the problem here is, it's a servlet, JSP, JDBC. So all these concepts make a lot of burden to the developer only, because it needs a lots of dependencies. It's servlets or something needs lots of dependencies to make it a web application. So this servlet, it is servlets means it is also nothing but it converts our Java code to web application, but it contains a lot of work. Well, how how this problem now changed? So now so, and also this process also happens downloading a lot of libraries too. Lot of libraries needs to download to make it possible, even in a single code. It's okay. It's okay if we have a simple Java code to make it a web application, like, or a method. It's a simple method. It's okay. But what if you are doing a enterprise level web application? So it is very, if you are doing any enterprise level up web application, so it is very difficult for us to download these libraries and to attach these dependencies. So how these dependencies are coming means, we are downloading these from the Google and installing on our system and attaching those to our projects. So this is a lot of work. So we are doing this lot of work. But now but now this world has evolved so much, and so many web frameworks are raised to do this. So one of the best framework nowadays is nothing but the Spring Boot. So we are doing our projects in this framework. Spring Boot, it is nothing but a framework. It is nothing but a framework, and it contains ready-made code in this also. So what is the best advantage is, it contains a lot of ready-made code. Ready-made code in it, and so many modules containing in this. So what is the importance? So this framework contains a lot of dependencies in it, and it has its own Tomcat server. It's a best thing is it's a Tomcat server. It is an inbuilt server in this Spring Boot, and it has a lot of auto wiring concepts. So this complete structure, and these dependencies and these auto wiring concepts, this inbuilt Tomcat servers makes it very very easy for the developers to develop any web applications. So now let's understand. Let's develop a simple Spring Boot application. Okay, why do I get this means I just go to the start.spring.io. So there are multiple ways to develop a Spring Boot application, but one of way I'm showing this to you. So here it is Java application, that's why we are mentioning it Java. mm, we are developing our project in Maven, not in Gradle. So Maven means if you're developing a project in the Java code, that's how Maven is used. If you're developing a project in different programming languages, that's how this Gradle is used. But we are developing our project in Java, right? So that's why it is enough to us. It is important for us. Now that it is mm, this is the latest stable Spring Boot version. It's a 3.3.3. It is the latest version for the Spring Boot. So we are using this. Mm, so here it's a packaging. It is a jar packaging. So we don't understand this now. We will learn about this later. And the Java version we are using for this is it's a 17. Java 17. And the group name. Mm, basically these group names is based on the company name. Basically if the company name is like company.com, so we just reverse these two. So we just reverse these to com dot my company. That's why our group id became. So artifact id, let's understand this later. It's a name. I'm going to give the name is second app because I already did the first app, so that's why I'm giving it to the second. So it is called as second app. So these artifact IDs also we understand it later. Now we need to add dependencies for us. I said that Spring Boot has a lot of dependencies in it. So to build a simple Spring Boot Java program, we need this web dependency for us. So let's understand and see what are the features that it is giving for us. It's a build web including RESTful APIs. So it's providing us REST features, and so we are doing our applications using the Spring MVC. So I said that it's a MVC, model view controller architecture. So it is using this MVC architecture, uses Apache Tomcat as a default embedded container. So I said that it is providing us a Tomcat server inbuilt. So it is mentioning also Tomcat server, it is a default embedded container here. So now let's generate it here. We are going to do a Spring Boot project here. Let's generate it here. It's downloaded. Now it comes under the download folder. Now we need to cut this folder and organize this folder. Just paste it here, because all Spring Boot projects you need to put in a single folder, organize it in a proper way. That's how it is easy to accessible, because these names are very useful. Now extract it here. So I'm saying that we need to extract the file here, and we need to open it in a Spring Tool Suite. Here it takes some time. Okay guys, it is taking some time because I'm having some of the internet issues. So here is the process, means we need to open this Spring Tool Suite and import those project which is extracted in our folder. We need to import this here, just like I'm showing. This is my first project. Now we just import another project. Here the import option came. Existing Maven projects, we need to import that. Next, we are going to provide the path which we are stored our Spring Boot project. Here we need to give path. After that, it looks like this. I already did this project, so that's why I'm showing it from here. So in main.java, here our all Java code we will write here, our Java projects. In these resources, in these static or HTML files are going to store here. If you want to run our project, how to run this project, just click on here, run as Maven build. It is the best way to run here. Clean, this is a command that cleans the previous codes like that. And Spring Boot run, this is also one of the command. So it go now. It is showing that this here the Tomcat servers started in the port of 8080. So let's check it, is it working or not. Like HTTP. Let's see, our project is running in the port number 8080. So this is the code that we return in our project HTML page. So let's see. This is our HTML project. So we are wrote this here. Welcome to the Java internship program. So it is just printed here. So that's how. So your Tomcat server is running, our project is running. So this is all about this project and for my first demo. Thank you for this giving opportunity. That's how. Thank you.